this thing is actually recording yet. Ah, look at that. It is. Welcome once again to Logic Prevails. I am Liamo All-Star, and this time I am not pushing any buttons. No, I have to make a decision. Yes, that's right. Mr. Indecisive has to decide between either or. If you want to try it for yourself, go to the websites, go play on either. It's a game online where you basically are faced with two options. And in this instance, the question is posed, would you rather have an average house in the middle of a city or have a mansion miles away from civilization? Well, given that most of my life I've had pretty much an average, or you could say average, for whatever that's worth, in the middle of a city, and considering which city it's in, I think I'll have to take the mansion because, hey, define miles away from city. And a little sub-note content thing down there says, assume neither location would be unpleasant. The house is your primary residence. Well, then obviously I got to choose a mansion, because the house in the middle of the city right now, especially if you know which city I'm talking about right here, mansion sounds better. And a lot of people agree with that, and I'm glad that they do. Moving on to the next question. Well, not so much a question, just a choice. Stare at the sun for 2 minutes or drink a liter of scalding water. What? The water temperature would be like an extremely hot coffee. Is this some sort of torture session here? I gotta stare at the sun for 2 minutes. I would actually, if I ever wished there was an eclipse, if there was an eclipse at the time, I'd say, yeah, sure, stare at the sun. Be like, oh, damn it. Yeah, that's right. The eclipse is on for the next few minutes. But that's just basically saying, would you rather boil yourself from the inside out or blind yourself? There's a better chance of yourself recovering from drinking scalding water, and at least scalding water can cool down from the inside. You stare at the sun for long enough, you go blind. At least you can recover from the scalding water, but a lot of people would rather stare at the sun for 2 minutes. I don't know, how long, I should probably have done some more research before I actually looked into that, how long you can actually stare at the sun before you actually start to get irreversible damage. Oh well. I'm uneducated like the rest of the internet right now, so moving on. Be a graphic designer or be an architect? Assuming that both pay equally and that you would be skilled at whichever one you choose. Well, obviously, if you're a crap graphic designer, no one's going to choose a graphics. But as an architect, you're basically building, you're designing buildings. Graphics is something that perhaps a lot of people do use, but at the same time, being an architect, how many buildings are there really? This might sound a little unusual, but considering that I'm done my own graphics for a lot of these videos and everything, maybe not great, but if I could get money for that, that's not to say that I can't do something else as well as be a graphic designer. Whereas as an architect, you're pretty much just designing buildings and blah blah. I'd rather go for the graphic design, I reckon. And so it'll nearly 50%, 56% would agree with that. Moving on. Smell like manure or smell like urine? This is really going downhill quickly. All day, every day, smell like manure or smell like urine. There are a lot of people that, I'm gonna go there. Okay, I'm gonna go there. In my time, particularly in primary school, And we've all known that one person that does have smell, that they do smell, that they don't really have good toiletry skills, and for whatever reason they end up smelling like urine, perhaps because you know what I'm talking about. Perhaps I don't need to go into detail, but then there are some people who don't know how to wipe their own ass and they smell like crap. And I mean, the urine smell can be masked a lot easier, but you smell like manure all day, every day. Yeah, a lot of people would agree. They prefer urine because at least urine is... Damn it, I forget the word. I'm trying to sound intelligent here and I can't even remember the word. Sterile! That's it, sterile. Urine is sterile. Manure ain't sterile, which means that you'd be walking around smelling at least like a disgusting but sterile person, or you get to walk around like a fecal matted prick who doesn't know how to wipe his own ass. Only talk in third person or never be able to call someone by name. Well, the All-Star says this. How do I speak in third person? Is that how The Rock speaks? I think if it was like that, yeah, talk in third person. The Rock says this. The Rock, or basically like on Seinfeld. Jimmy has got the moves. Jimmy is into LA. Jimmy. Yeah. That's where they got that whole joke where George likes... George likes spicy chicken. What'd you say? I like spicy chicken. No, you said George likes spicy chicken. You're starting to talk like Jimmy. George is getting upset! Yeah, well, you know what? Liamo All-Star would rather talk in third person rather than not to be able to address someone by their name. But then again, maybe not addressing them by name. If I were able to call them asshole or something that's not their name. Maybe I should have gone that one. Oh well, I've already clicked it. Control the emotions of those around you or control the weather. Well, I don't want to control people's emotions. I could be like Storm. Storm. You don't know who Storm is, then you'd be living under a rock. Yeah, Storm. This isn't mind control. You're not going to make them slaves. It's more of an influence. Whereas controlling the weather is controlling the weather. Duh! Really? You'd rather control people's emotions? Control this emotion then! Because I'm agitated at the fact that 52% of you would rather control other people's emotions rather than save your home from a freaking tornado! So all of you would rather control the masses that are panicking around you while a cyclone rips through your town, a flood or natural disaster or Godzilla, rather than actually control the weather and deal with it so that, at the same time, you get to remove the circumstance that created the emotion in the first place. Internet, what the hell are you doing? Control the weather. Ay. Moving on. Always dress like royalty or always dress like a pimp. Can I sell the clothes? I mean, if I sold the pimp clothes, wouldn't get much money. Well, maybe I would, but... define royalty. I mean, this right here, this grey ensemble that I'm wearing, this grey shirt, which is a reflection of my mood, perhaps. Whatever, dress like royalty, who cares? 68% of people would rather dress like royalty rather than be a pimp slapping hoe. Ooh. Be a vegetarian and love a meat eater, or be a meat eater and love a vegetarian. Well, I technically am a meat eater right now, and I'd be fine with a vegetarian. And so would 81% of people. But then, is the vegetarian okay with me? The meat eaters hate vegetables. Vegetarians will not even cook meat and can't stand the smell. Well, if you love each other, you find a way to get around. And I know people who actually are either meat eaters or vegetarian, they find a way to make it work. So, hey, whatever. Get stung repeatedly by Japanese hornets, or be bitten once by a black widow spider. You'd have an equal chance of dying either way. I'm gonna do something I didn't think I would ever do. I am going to get back on that one because this is my life we're talking about here. You want me to either get stung repeatedly by a Japanese hornet or be bitten once by a black widow spider with equal chance of dying anyway. I need to actually do some research on this because there could be a situation where I could get stung by one or bitten by the other. And people are relying on my logic right now to get us all through this whole situation. I think I will stop right here and continue this. I'm going to answer this one the next time I go on Would You Rather, or otherwise known as Either. But if you want to answer it yourself and other questions, feel free to do so. Go on their websites, play the game for yourself. But for now, my name is Liam, and I will see you guys next time. That is, unless, of course, I get bitten by a Japanese hornet or a black widow spider and don't make it for the next video.